All right, boys and girls, good morning. Coming to you on a Tuesday morning this week due to Memorial Day. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I know I had some time to just relax, spend time with family who I've been seeing, and obviously following social distancing rules and doing all that, but still good to see people, right? We are going and moving on to week 6 of virtual learning, which is talking about triangular prisms, finding the surface area of triangular prisms. Reflecting back to last week, we found the surface area of rectangular prisms. Here is a quick check just for you to kind of refresh yourself if you are interested. Not necessary, but here are 3 questions for you just to practice. Obviously, if you would like to do this, you can pause the video now. Kind of go back and look at your notes from last week and see what we did last week to solve these problems, and then go ahead and check your answers here, and then we can move on. Common Core State Standards for what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be looking at 3D figures, and we're going to use nets made up of rectangles and triangles, specifically today triangles. And a few rectangles in there too. Here are all our mathematical practices. What we're going to learn today, we're going to find the surface area of triangular prisms. Here is what a triangular prism looks like. What we're going to focus on, notice that all triangular prisms have 2 triangles. Those are both your bases, okay? 2 triangles are your bases, and then we have 3 faces that are rectangles or squares. Okay. Now, how we find the surface area of this shape, this triangular prism, well, we just go over to the words here and read. It says that the surface area of a triangular prism is the sum of the areas of the 2 triangular bases and the 3 rectangular faces. So basically, all we need to do is find the area of each shape and add them up. Okay, find the area of each shape, the 2 triangles and the 3 rectangles, and add them up. All right, here we go. They're going to walk us through this one, and then we will try one together. So notice we have a triangular prism with a height of 9/10 centimeters, a base of 1, and then we have some rectangles here as well. Okay. It says to find the surface area of each of the triangular prism, find the area of each and add. Okay, so notice that they used a net here. This is kind of what you're going to be using for today. Yes, you have to use there's no special formula for this type of problem. You just have to kind of use a net and fold it out. See how they went ahead and just took what it was and then they just folded it out flat. Okay. Some people like breaking it apart, and I'll do an example like this. Some people like breaking it apart where they take all of the triangles and they put them to one side, and then they take all the rectangles and put them to one side, and then they figure them out that way. We can do that too. But notice that it's just laid out flat like this. Okay. All you need to do now is find the area of each shape. Okay, we know how to find the area of triangles, and we know how to find the area of rectangles, which is good news. Okay, area of a triangle, just so you remember, is area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height, or you could do base times height divided by 2. Okay, either of those is how you figure out the area of a triangle. So, good news for us, the triangles in this case are both the exact same shape. Okay, so we really only have to find the area one time, right? And then just multiply that by 2, so we get our 2. And that's what they did here. They said the area of each triangular base is 1/2 times 1 times 0.9. They were just plugging into this formula right here. Okay. And then they found the area of each rectangular face by just doing this, base times height. Okay, that's the only, that's the formula for the rectangular shape. It's just a base times height. Okay, so they just took 1 and they multiplied it by 2. Here's the base and here's the height, right? Now we need to add them up. So like I said, this is from our triangle. We have 45. This is what they found up here. This is from our other triangle. This is from our rectangle. This is from our rectangle. And this is from our rectangle. Okay, we just add all those things up and we end up getting 6 9/10 square centimeters. Okay, let's try one together here. See if I can move myself a little bit. I'll go right into the middle of the screen there. Just so I can see what I'm using. Alright, here we go. It says find the surface area of the triangular prism. Again, in this case we have 2 triangles and we have 3 rectangles. I know you can't really see it, but we do have 2 triangles. If I was to go ahead and turn this shape around, flip it, we would be able to see that we kind of have a triangle back here. Okay, so I'm just going to do that dotted line to show you that yes, we do have 2 triangles. Alright. Here's how I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to use 2 triangles and I'm going to set them in the bottom here. Okay, I'm going to draw those triangles up for you and then we'll do the rectangles up here. As it stands right now, here are what my 2 triangles look like. Alright. Something like this. Okay, and here's my 45-degree angle, or my 90-degree angle, excuse me, and my 90-degree angle. Okay, the bottom is 10. Let's see, this side is 6, so I'm going to put 6 here, 6 here. And then what else am I missing? Oh, I'm missing the height, so going this way. Notice that this is the same line as this line, so we're going to put the 8 here. Okay. Now, I need to imagine and kind of flip this triangle, okay? Because I need to know that this is my height, because this is the line that's going straight up and down. So if I flip this, it should look something like this. If I flip it to go straight up and down with my 90-degree angle, it now looks like this, and I'll do that twice for you so we know which is which. And we need to know, if when I switch my pen color here, go to green, I need to know that 6 stays on the bottom, 8 goes on for my height, and my 10 is my diagonal, which again we don't really need. But 6 is here, 8's here, 10's here. The only reason I did this is so I could see which one was my actual height. Okay, that's the only reason I did that. Alright, going back to red, now I just need to figure out area of a triangle. It's equal to base times height divided by 2. Alright, so plug in what you know. My base is the one on the bottom, it's 6, so I'm going to plug in 6 for the base. My height, we just talked about that, is going straight up and down, it is 8. And then I'm going to divide all of that by 2. Well, 6 times 8 I know is 48. And then 48 divided by 2, my area for my triangle should be 24. Okay, so we'll use that in just a second here. Alright, done with my triangles. Now I need to move on to my rectangles. This is kind of going to be the difficult part. For most people, if you don't have the imagination to kind of see where all of this lays out, okay? I should have 3 rectangles, okay? 3 rectangles. I have one on the side, I have one on the other side, and then I have one on the bottom, okay? So this is where being in class is very beneficial, just because I'm able to kind of create this shape and take the pieces off. So you're able to see it. Here, obviously you can't do that, so we kind of just have to use our imagination, okay? I'm going to outline the first rectangle in black so you can see what I'm talking about here. I always like to start with the one on the bottom, so I'll always see if I can outline this for you. So here's my first rectangle. Hopefully you're able to see this. There's my first rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that rectangle over here. Okay. Obviously, rectangles don't have rounded edges, so just go with it, right? On the bottom, it is 10. On the side, it's 12. Okay, I can find out this area pretty easily. Just base times height, so 10 times 12, 120. Okay, pretty simple. Moving on, going to my next rectangle, I'm going to do this one in blue. We'll see how well this works with the blue outline here. It's going to be the one on the side going this way. Okay, so here's where we start. There we go, and then going across this way as well. So hopefully you're able to see on the side here, here's my next rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and just draw it over here. Okay, if you can see, the 6 would be on top or on the bottom, either way. Okay, they're both the same. And then on the sides, we don't know, I need to find this one right here. I don't know what this is. Okay, but I actually do. Since this side is 12, that means the other side has to be 12 as well. So that means that both of these will be 12. And how I figure out area, again for a rectangle, just base times height. So all I have to do is 6 times 12, which is 72. Okay, and then my last triangle is going to be the one that's on the right side there, that's slanted. Let's see what other pen color I have here. Let's go with let's see if we can use that green. Alright, so I'm going down the right side here, down the bottom, up the other side, and then across the top here. Okay, so I'll pull that out and put it on this side. Okay, so looking here, this one's kind of easy to see which is which, alright? The top here is an 8, so that means the bottom's also 8. 12 is on the right side, so that means 12 is also on the left side. Okay, and just find the area of these rectangles by doing base times height. 8 times 12, you should get 96. Okay, now, here's what this looks like. All we have to do is add up all of these shapes that we just found. So add up my 2 triangles and my 3 rectangles. So my 2 triangles, remember, we're 24 and 24. Okay, there are 2 triangles, 24, 24, 24. Okay, then we are going to go to my first rectangle, which was 120. So we're going to add 120. I'm going to keep the same colors, so we'll at least try to. Then we're going to go to my second rectangle, which was a blue rectangle, and we'll add the 72. And then lastly, we're going to go to my green rectangle, and we got 96. Okay, so here's where pulling out a calculator would be helpful. All we have to do is just add all these things together. I'm going to do mine right here. 24 plus 24 plus 120 plus 72 plus 96. You should get 336. We're talking about feet squared because we have area, which is actually what the answer is over here. So we know we did it right. I'm going to do one more with you here, and then we will get moving on. Okay, our answer is 216, just so we have that for the future. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I am going to go ahead and use red for my triangles. If you are able to see, obviously here is one triangle. Wow, let's try that again. My goodness. Let's try that again. I'm using a book for a mouse pad, so it moves on me all the time. So here's my first triangle. And then you need to know that there's one on the other side too. There's always going to be 2 triangles, okay? We have one on the front and we also have one on the back, even though we can't see it, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw these 2 triangles out for you so we can find the area. Again, they're both going to be the same exact shape. Your triangles will always be the same exact shape. We have a 6 on this side, and we have an 8 on this side. I'm not even going to use the diagonal because we don't care what that is, because we don't use it for our triangle anyway, right? We just want to make sure that we are using the actual height, and the actual height goes up and down. So I just want these triangles, or just this side here, okay? Remember, area of a triangle is equal to base times height divided by 2. Okay, so if I plug in what I know here, my base, which is on the bottom, is 8. My height is 6, so I'm going to plug in 6 for the h and divide that by 2. Looks similar to the problem that we had just a second ago on the last one. 8 times 6 is 48, and if I divide that by 2, I get 24. So each of these has an area of 24. I like to just put them inside so I remember. All right. Okay, all done with triangles. Let's go ahead and move on to our rectangles. Like I told you before, I always like to do the one on the ground first, the one that's on the base, the one that it's sitting on first, which is kind of difficult to see in this case, all right? Because, yeah, we know that it should run this way in black. I'm outlining this, and then it runs across the bottom here on the side. But where does it go from there? Well, you have to use your imagination again and be able to know that there should be a dotted line going that way, and that's kind of what it looks like right there, all right? So if I'm able to pull this out, it should look something like this, okay? Where the bottom is 8, and if the bottom's 8, that means the top's also 8, and the right side is 7, which I get from right here, and the left side must also be 7, okay? To figure out that area, I just have to do base times height, so just 8 times 7. And that is 56. All right, so that's where I get my first one. Let's move on to, what did I use last time? I think I used blue. Yeah, blue should work. All right, let's do the one on the left side. Okay, so the one that's kind of sitting straight up and down here. So here's what this looks like. Kind of tough to see with the red there, but I'll try and get rid of that. So there's one going on the left side, then we're going across the top here. Remember, where does it go now? Well, it has to come down here. Okay, it's got to come down there, and then we go across on the bottom. So there's my other rectangle. Okay, so if I was to go ahead and lay this out here, look something like this. I know that this side should be 6, the other side should be 6. Now I need to figure out what is the bottom and the top. Okay, well, I get it from this 7 over here. If this side is 7 of the bottom rectangle that we just did, the other side has to be 7. So that's where these 7s come from. We just do base times height, which is 42 for this rectangle. And last one, I'm going to do some erasing here so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see if these lines will go away. This will be a lot easier if I can get rid of all of these for you. Alright, and then we're going to do the last one in green here, and it will be the one that is on the diagonal, sitting like this, okay? And this one's the easiest to see. Right here, just go across the side, bottom, and the other side. Okay, so when I pull that out, it should look something like this, a little bit bigger than the other ones. Okay, for the smaller side, you can see the bottom and the top here should be 7 and 7. Okay, if one side's 7, the other side's also 7, and then going across on the sides, it is 10. If this side's 10, that means the other side also has to be 10. To find the area of this, just do base times height, 70. And let's go ahead and add up all of these things together now that we have found the area of all of them. So I have two triangles, remember that. 24 plus 24, there are two of them. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our black pen and we'll go to the black rectangle, which we found that the area was 56. My next rectangle, we used a blue pen, and we found that the area was 42, so we're going to go ahead and add that. And lastly, going back to my green pen, we found that the area of that rectangle was 70. When I add up all of these things, I should get 216. And going to our answer, making sure that we have inches squared at the end will be very, very key when doing surface area or any type of area. All right, that's it. Here's your ticket out the door, something you could think about as we're leaving here. Write a few sentences to differentiate between a rectangular prism and a triangular prism. What's the difference? What is the difference in finding the area? Things like that. Obviously, make sure you're taking care of your quizzes. I'm sorry, not your quizzes, your quiz this week. There's just one. Use that practice worksheet that we give you every week. Watch this video. Please let me know if you have any type of questions. Email me, send me a message on Schoology, and we can meet up and kind of chat about what your issue is. Thanks, guys.